on. The team also made a number of enhancements to our adapters. And so these ones we will have some demos for. So first up is an enhancement to the Jira Adapter to be able to map status by category. We did this by adding a special field in the Jira Adapter. So this is not a field in that it doesn't have a field definition in Jira, but it is part of the metadata of the Jira status is its status category. The advantage of using the status category is that this is universal across all Jira instances. It's one of the few things that is not customizable in Jira. And so the use case that the customer has is that they want to support all of their Jira teams using whatever status values they want, but they still want to be able to sync those over to Rally and sync to update the schedule state. And so instead of trying to add a separate mapping for each team or having different mappings for different projects, they map by status category and can map to do, in progress, and done, which are those default statuses, and map this into Rally. So let me stop here and I can do a quick demo of this. So in ConnectALL, the configuration for this is pretty easy. In our Jira automation here, we now have the status category field. So it shows up as an additional field here. And when you pull that in, it is a one-way field, so it maps from Jira out only. Uh, and it has only the mapping options for those defaults. I go into Jira. I can create a new story here. Status. Not let me update that status. Um, I'm on the automation. Here it comes across. It does set the schedule state based on that mapping. Obviously, this won't map back because it is a one-way mapping, but the use case here is to support mapping out of Jira. And with the Jira status transitions, it wasn't really feasible to map back to Jira based purely on status category. So that is why that is supported as a one-way field. Okay, the next one is Jira Adapter to delete issue links. Um, like we did in Rally some PIs ago, we have now added support for clearing issue links through the Jira Adapter. This is supported in combination with Rally or Jira. These are the only adapters that support deleting issue links, and so can only be used in combination with each other. This is enabled per automation and disabled by default. Like the Rally adapter, this is just in here. So we have this enable delete issue links configuration option that appears only in this Jira and Rally combination. So let me create an issue link. I'll do that in Jira. Um, I will create that in Rally, add a new predecessor. automation. So in Jira, should be able to see this. This now has this issue link to this is blocked by new linked story. I'm going to remove that link in Rally, update the automation, and in Jira, we can see that link has now been removed. The next enhancement is one for the Rally adapter and what to do for handling invalid timebox values. So the Rally adapter data model for time boxes means that there are often different IDs on this time box for every project. So for each release and each sprint, each project has a different ID. That means customers are usually mapping these by value. But there's a question of what to do when the value is not found. And this enhancement puts that configuration option for iterations, milestones, and releases into the hands of whoever's configuring the automation. This is set in the mapped field configuration, and I'll show you that in just a moment. And there is an option to either continue to sync and clear the field, to fail the sync as if it's an invalid value, or for milestones to create a new milestone object. We may extend this to create additional time box objects in the future, but this was the scope that existed previously to create milestones, and now this behavior is configurable. The default now is to fail, and ConnectALL will show a failure message that the value is not allowed. This is to be consistent with ConnectALL's behavior for all other selection-based fields. If you pick the skip option, ConnectALL removes that value from the payload, meaning that is sending a null value update to the destination that clears the field value in Rally. Inadvertently, this was the previous behavior in this case, because when the value was not allowed, we were saying, okay, don't sync it over. And that was clearing out those sprints. And so if customers have this configured this way, that will remain to be the case unless they reconfigure their automations. But now the default is that fail state. And then for milestones, if you pick the create option, it creates a new milestone that's associated with all Rally projects. If there's a desire to configure that project, we may do some work in the future. This is not currently planned. The use case here is that the customer we're working with has some Jira teams who work in Kanban without time boxes, and some who work in Scrum with their iterations. Additionally, some of these teams use Rally for their sprint planning and others do not. So sprints may or may not exist in Rally depending on who it is, but they still want all of that to roll up to their portfolio items to report to their management. Configuring these what to do when the time box does not match lets them avoid setting up per team mappings for these so that they can get this synchronization to happen without any intervention on the side of the ConnectALL admin team. There's no upkeep. They can kind of set it and forget it. Looking at the demo for this, we'll go into our automation here. And I've added a sprint mapping. I don't have any value mapping configured. And if I look at the field configuration, this is where this option is. So if the field value is not found, you see it only appears on the Rally side. Only appears if this is by value. So if I switch to by ID, there's no configuration option. Um, so we switch here, and this is an iteration, so my options are fail or skip. I'm going to pick fail to demonstrate. I will take my Jira story here. Right now it's in this RTFM4 sprint, and if we go in Rally, um, you can see that this is the same iteration that's configured here. I'm going to move this to my bad sprint. Run the automation, and we see that it has failed. If I scroll down to my related artifacts here, I can see here it is. Bad sprint not found for field iteration in the destination system. Pretty standard error message. Now, if I change the configuration on the automation, and switch this instead to skip, they retry this item, run the automation. That update goes across. And in Rally, where the sprint before was sprint 4, reload, you can see that sprint has been cleared. And that's because the value of the sprint that is being synced is invalid, which means it should not be in any of our configured sprints. We also deprecated the legacy Rally software adapter. This has now been hidden from the new connections lists to avoid customers accidentally creating connections with this adapter. Automations may be created from existing connections, and such connections can be cloned or updated. So if customers are still using this, we're not blocking them from continuing to do so. However, we are planning to remove this adapter entirely from ConnectALL in the November release. So all customers who are currently using the Rally Legacy adapter should build in plans to migrate their automations to the new Rally adapter. The new Rally adapter has been out for and is in GA with a number of customers using it in production. We're confident with the functionality that it has completely replaced everything in the Rally legacy. So all customers should be making that move over the next couple quarters. There is a known issue related to this. We did not hide the legacy adapter from the and so if a user tries to drag and drop create a Rally software legacy connection in the value stream view, it does fail. So you still can't create that new adapter that way. But then it will fail any additional attempts to create connections after that. So the page needs to be reloaded to create other connections.